So yesterday, Leroy, I was boots on the ground. Was boots on the ground all over the place. How tired are you of me using that phrase, by the way?
After one time.
When listen, there was a reason my boots were all over the place. So we had this discussion yesterday. Do you remember what we were talking about with the GM poll, the NBA GM poll that came out?
Yeah.
And I was saying with the Heat, I was saying, you know what? These GMs with, Erik Spoelstra and naming him the best coach. Too little, too late, Leroy. I don't want their love now. You know what? It's too little, too late from them, right? And so I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll ask him about this GM poll. I'll ask him what he thinks. Because, I wonder if he really gives a rat's ass or not. I feel like he's not going to give a rat's ass. And I also kind of want to see read the tone. Spo, sometimes you get on that tone. Maybe you catch him on a day. Bring up the refs. He'll tell him to get some sleep. Or maybe he'll forge some stuff and fire. You never know what genius is going to come from the Heat head coach, Leroy. So, I asked him about it. I asked him about the GM poll and if he was, flattered that he was named top coach. And here's what he had to say.
And NBA.com came out with a GM poll, and they had you as the best coach in the NBA. They voted you best coach in the NBA. Is there any part of that with people in the league thinking that highly of your skill that means anything to you? Or?
Look, when you're a coach, you just can't listen to anything because more days than not, we have no idea what the hell we're talking about and getting criticized like crazy, and that's part of this position. I take my job here with this organization very seriously. I have a responsibility, for the organization. I just try to do the best job, that I can. But, if you get that, that there's going to be 10x the other way soon enough, and you're in this position, in this chair, you realize that pretty quickly.
I think
that's the equivalent to.
What?
That's the equivalent to somebody else telling your wife that you're hot.
Somebody else.
You don't want the opinion of another. The only thing that matters is your GM.
I agree.
Your GM thing?
I think so. That's what I think. I feel like he agrees with me. Too little, too late for these GMs.
That's what you got out of that.
That's what I got out of that, dude.
Too late.
Yeah, I got out of that. Too little, too late. Sorry, because you want to know something? He knows all the lack of appreciation that was going on for years with him. And so when he's like, you know what? You find out in this chair, it's going to be 10x the other way plenty of times. I heard too little, too late. I don't know about you. My boots were on the ground, and that's what I heard, Marcos. Too little, too late.
It's all in the tone.
Yeah, it's in the tone, right?
He's done with it, man.
I don't need this.
Doesn't need that crap.
Oh, GM poll.
Well, a poll conducted by GM. I just repeated what you said. I'm sorry. I didn't have
No, it's okay. I like it.
Didn't have anything else.
Said the same thing, right? I think he agrees with me, Leroy.
Leroy feels the same way.
I think Leroy does feel the same way.
I see that. It's in the tone of his face.
Yeah.
Except he used different words.
Well, I mean, he's a
less.
much more eloquent, man than I am. He's smart.
Synapses.
He's a smart guy. I also asked Bam about getting disrespected in the poll because I didn't like the fact that he wasn't on the that he wasn't top 5. He's not top 5 defensively. Get the hell out of here. He can guard everybody in the league. Not top 5 defensively. Here's Bam.
NBA.com did a GM survey of all these categories. You weren't in the top 5 for defensive players in the league. I know you're not a guy who likes to campaign, but is there anything else you can do this year, I guess, to show how good a defender you are? Or do you feel like there's another even level you can get to defensively?
Man, I don't pay attention to that shit. GM's got that survey. I don't care about that survey. The dudes in the NBA know who I am. They know what I'm capable of. It ain't hard. It ain't that hard for a GM to look at me and be like, okay, he's one of the dudes with the greatest plus minus or whatever. Whatever that is. But I'm gonna just do what I gotta do on the court. I'm not worried about no GM survey.
If I may.
What?
You can't have a stat gun ready to shoot off if it don't matter.
Wait, what? So you calling him a liar?
No, I'm saying he said, "Oh man, I don't worry about that bleep. I mean, they can see that I'm in the top on plus minuses."
I'm pretty sure.
I'm like, so basically, you should be there. If you given these analytic numbers, right? So you do care.
Well, perhaps.
Like that's like a running back. They say you're not considered one of the top 5 running backs in the league, but my yards per carry is 5.5.
I think that he does care a little bit. I don't know if he knew about the poll at the time, but if he does, he's probably like, "Are you effing kidding?" He said,
Don't be that guy, Tobin.
What? What did I do?
Guy.
What guy?
Stir in the pot.
I'm not stirring the pot.
Stir in the pot.
I'm not stirring the pot, but if I'm boots on the ground, I'm gonna ask what I want to ask. And that's what was interesting to me. We were talking about it yesterday. I'm glad that he cares. And
I don't understand how he could have those stats locked and loaded, but not care.
Well, listen. It's ridiculous that he's not in the top 5. I'm not saying number 1. Top 5. Ben Simmons.
If he's close.
Ben Simmons doesn't even play for. Why is Ben Simmons on the list? Not even on a team. He's on Team Rich Paul.
Technically, he is.
Is he?
How long? Wait, I have a question. You think Ben shows up by the end of the week? Because he set the tone, right? He set the tone. He set the tone. I tell you what, a mischeck does a lot. Ask me. I'm telling you. It could go 2 ways. It can make you go back to work,
right,
or make you never want to go to work.
Schmeeth and
Schmeeth
says, if Tobin says boots on the ground one more time, I'm driving to the station, putting my boot to his temple.
I would, but it's too damn far.
Oh, man. I had something embarrassing happen to me at Keat Camp yesterday, too.
Really? After all that, nothing bad happened to you? It's about time. Why you ain't lead? Wait, before you went with all the nonsense of stirring it up, you should have led with this.
Oh, well, it would happen after. I'm going in sequential order. But I left well, here's the thing. So Bam wanted to talk like right as we got in there because he had to go see his mom. And so I was scrambling to get my equipment set up, my tripod and all that stuff. So I'm taking stuff out of my pocket, my recorder in my pocket. And so I left something. I was like, I kind of left in a rush, after I talked to everybody. Get to, and to let people know, in the Heat's building, you don't just walk into the gym like a high school willy-nilly. It's kind of like,
no, God.
Like hyperbaric chamber to get into the gym. Like it's a very beautiful, high, top-notch facility. You got to get through a bunch of people. And not the ideal place you want to leave something of importance. And I realized as I have sat down.
I left my driver's license.
That's right.
I had Tobin.
Oh, man, the negotiations I had to get your driver's license was.
We had to FaceTime the guy at the front.
Right. But I left I get to my seat and I realized I had left my phone in the gym. Because I had taken my recorder out of my pocket, but I also went to the wrong pocket first, so I went to the phone first. And so I had to sneak my way back into the back facility, the back offices. So I'm like following a custodial lady, like, she's like rolling through, and I'm trying to be super polite. I was like, yeah.
Is that what we call them?
What would you refer to them as?
Custodians.
Okay, custodians. That's fine. Well, she was but it was a lady.
No. I'm just saying. Like, is that we use that term still?
I don't know. What do you prefer them as?
I don't know. Just asking.
I thought custodian. I don't refer to them as janitors or maids. I think custodian is the way to go.
Okay.
The point is,
because nobody knows what the hell that means. So if you call them custodian, that's great.
The point is, I was being super polite, opening up the doors for her carts. The reason was I needed to sneak back in. There's nobody at the desk, Leroy. There's nobody there. It's like it's Heat practice time, and then they're ready to move on to Houston. And so I get to the back door to where the hyperbaric door is to get through. And I don't know where the media relations office is. I don't know where any of the offices are. Pat Riley's office is down the hall, and that's through double pane glass doors. I know I'm not allowed in there. I'll probably get shot on sight. You don't go by the Godfather's office. But there's one door that's open, and I see these two young whippersnappers. They look, I would say, Marcos, looked in the 20-year-old, 19-year-old range, trying to cut their teeth in the NBA.
You can get past them pretty much.
I don't know if I can get past them, but I go, hey, fellas. And they both look back. They're cutting film, doing whatever they got to do. I say, hey, listen, I left my phone in the gym. You think I could get in there? They go, we're not allowed in there.
Wow.
I was like, what? Wait, what do you mean? You guys are like in this big office. You're not allowed in there? That's not how that goes? No access? And he goes, yeah. He goes, who are you with? They didn't know. I was like, I explained. I'm like, 7 I take a morning show host, Silly
New
Sauce,
Times.
Wacky. Yeah, Miami New Times, #1 host, so they ended up finding somebody for me. Very embarrassing. I had to get brought back into the gym. But
Toby?
Did you find it?
I did find it. It was in there. Thank goodness. But it took them. The kid's like, it's all right. Bleep happens. And he went and got me a media relations guy who ended up bringing me in. But I was trying my best to go in there like nonchalant. And but you don't want to leave. Dude, you don't want to leave your stuff at a place where you're not you don't have access to. Super embarrassing.
Really?
Yeah.
You realize who you're talking to. I left my driver's license because they hold it hostage while you got the little tag.
Dude, when you have boots on the ground, you got to make sure that you have all your equipment. And I didn't. Big mistake.
Still going with that. That's today's theme.
What do you mean?
I'm not saying it. See, every time he leads you down that path, don't bite.
I wasn't instigating at heat camp.
It's not even a real worm on that hook.
Dude,
plastic worm.
Leroy, I'm not
You're gonna reuse it.
I'm not an instigator. Don't say I was instigating yesterday at heat practice. That's not instigating.
Really?
It's not instigating.
Really? You got a cuss word out.
That's just
you made the guy you interview cuss.
That's how we chop it up.
He wasn't a fighter.
That's how we chop
it up.
He
wasn't a boxer. Right.
He just wanted. I'm doing that for him to get his opportunity to say his piece. That's journalism, I think. I mean, I don't have a degree in journalism, but I think that's what they teach in class. Aren't you supposed to allow people to say their piece?
You did not do the research?
Well, I mean, that guy doesn't respect me.
That might have been one of the funniest things ever.
Anyway,
because he really was talking to us like we were professionals.
You don't want to have a guy who wants to just be like, oh, well, I think Jimmy does that thing too, where he's like, who cares? Who cares? Statement game, revenge game. Who cares?
Oh, who cares?
But he's also the guy who called TJ Warren trash and took his soul. So, there's that too. Another guy says, I actually think it's great that he cares. It'll make him a much hungrier and a better defender. Hard to even be better defending.
I don't believe that. I think he's driven by other things other than that list. But man,
I get this.
I know he cares.
This is an interesting thing though. Speaking of defense from Spo, did you see the video the NBA came out with this week with the new rules? It's basically the James Harden video. Like you're not allowed to like trick referees. You're not allowed to like do the jump into the body thing. You're not allowed to flail for fouls. Now we'll see if they still fall for it, but these are supposed to be things that aren't called anymore. And so here's Spo on the new rule set that's going to be there this year.
It'll be different, but I think we all want it. I think there'll probably be some growing pains and maybe some early frustration, but that usually happens when they make some changes. But nobody wants to see non-basketball plays or trickery being rewarded. These guys are so smart that all the skilled players have learned how to manipulate the game. They'll still be able to control games and manipulate competition. but it doesn't have to be a form of trickery with the officials.
I wonder who the guy is. Who is the guy that is in Spo's head immediately when he thinks of trickery? Because it's got to be James Harden, yes?
You got it. I mean, I was thinking you.
Me?
Trickery. Yeah, like that sounds like you.
I got to tell you, I love when Kyle Lowry did that thing where he flailed his head during the preseason. I love that. Heady play by him. I've always loved that about his game. He loves how to move the head and really manipulate when a guy comes near him to make it seem like, the guy's getting into his space. Always loved that about Kyle Lowry's game. I love it. A savvy vet, dude. This guy is a savvy killer. And when he does the thing with his head, bobbing it back when a guy comes near him, that's not trickery. That's savviness. I've always loved that about his game.
You're the worst. Well, that's why Bam calls you a real one, because game understand game.
Whoa! Wait a minute. Whoa!
You're a good one. You're a real one.
What does that mean? So you're calling you're hitting us with the fraud guns?
I'm not the one that mentioned stats immediately after the list came out.
He may just happen to know it.
He responded to the list right after he said he didn't care about the list.
Stunt Steve says that I'm the worst. I do love that about Stunt Steve. You don't love how we have always loved Kyle Lowry and his head bobbing. What a guy, man. Can't wait for this year. Missing piece.
Everybody's getting hip to your game. Almost dodged the bullet. Right?
I'm glad you didn't tell that one to Jimmy. I appreciate that.
I think Kyle Lowry knew you were the guy.
I don't think so.
That's why he called you Toby. Who the hell's Toby? Right? That's right.
Who Tobin is.
Jeez. I can't wait for the game tonight at 10 o'clock.
Toby?
I can. I'll be asleep.
I got a Twitch says Bam's tone was carrying a lot. Boxed in. Can you just be boxed in by tone?
You just said you. Wait a minute. See? Didn't you just say Spo agree with you in tone?
He did agree with me in tone. But
so why can't you?
I don't think Spo was denying what I felt. It's not like I went up to him and be like, hey, can these GMs kick rocks? I just said, hey, does that mean anything to you? And he says, it's nice, do this job, but like things go the other way, you listen to nothing, something to that effect. And you can just tell by tone, he's just like, I don't have time for these GMs. They all thought that I sucked. I remember the charlatans.
And was Bam's tone that he cared more than he said he did?
That definitely was the case.
Okay.
Which I like.
Okay, so we're reading tone now.
Texter writes in, James Harden and Trae Young are bleeped with these new rules. Yeah, Trae Young's another one. He is a master at that. Duncan was funny. I asked Duncan about it yesterday too, and he was like, I was going to add that move. He goes, but then I can't do that move.
Oh, they changed the rule before you tried to add that move?
He wanted to add that move.
But here's why that would suck for him, right? 3-point shooters shoot on rhythm, right?
Yep.
If you're trying to get a foul, then you don't care about making the shot.
Well, yeah, but Steph does. Did you hear the Trailblazers announcers the other day? They were busting on Steph because he was trying. He's like, not gonna work this year, Steph. Because Steph does the cute little thing where he does the jump in. You got to do it with a little bit more savvy, like Dwayne Wade. That's a pro's pro with the shot fake. But he didn't trick people. His fouls were always legit.
Dude, you're not a member of the NBA if you haven't flailed at some point.
That's true. It really has become
like all of them.
The whole league, the lot of them.
My favorite is when the guy swipes and he waits a second, then flops.
Yep.
Like here's an interesting thought. Why in all of these sports are we changing the rules other than just getting better officials that can see the nonsense?
I don't know. That's a good question.
We changed the rules. Like, look, one of the whole reasons why we came up with instant replay on pass interference and all that stuff was because they missed so many calls.
Right.
And then we have replay. They have an egregious foul on the Saints, and you can't review it.
A guy just
So what are we doing?
A guy just texted in, charlatans can't rely on trickery when they have boots on the ground. Exactly. What? Is that an
I
insult?
don't even know what that means.
I don't know what that means either.
Was he complimenting you or
Hmm.
busting your chops? I can't tell.
Probably the best way to end
What
today's
is
show.
busting the chops?
Well, Ric Flair used to do the old chop when he was going up against his opponents in the corner. You know, and then the people would go, woo! And he would slap him in the chest. The Ric Flair chop.
That's not busting chops. That thing chops his mouth, right?
I think you're right, actually.
Has nothing to do with pork chops? Huh.
Kind of an overrated meat.
Pork chops?
What?
Wow.
What?
It's a cold
Yep.
take.
Yep.
It's a cold take. No one's even like, who's boosting pork chops to the point where you think they're
I
overrated?
just wanted to throw that out there. There's so many better ways to have porks. Why chop them?
Jesus Christ.
No, they're
Toby and Leroy.
Hope you mother have a good day.